So we're here at the Roots of Change Community Garden, actually community co-op here in San Antonio, Texas. And the garden started out as a victory from these 2 fuel tanks wanted to be built here on the east side of San Antonio. So a lot of community members and community residents and students got together and said, no, we don't want any more fuel tanks. We want the positive things. So that's where this lot came in. It used to be an empty lot. Didn't have much purpose. So then we decided to do a garden here because it's something that's going to be flourish over the years. It's a positive space in this, industrialized community. And basically, if you look around or if you have an aerial view, you see fuel tanks, you'll see like industries and different other parking lots everywhere else. So there's a saying that goes that the government likes to put parking lots over the most contaminated sites, especially in Texas. So here we have the native garden, which holds a lot of medicinal plants and a lot of plants that were used here in Texas. We have salvia, we have plumbago, esperanza, we have savila, and we have nopales, which are called prickly pear cacti, I think. They use them for many other reasons, as well as just eating them, like fry them with some tomato and onions. And then a bit more further over here, this is like the expansion process right here. And that's sort of what we're working on this summer, is to make this part into an urban farm. You see there's already starting some beds where we could then feed more people, where we could then go or create a small little farmer's market here, like here in this area here, where we could sell, because it's basically a food desert where we live in. So if we move a little bit more, we find the initial garden, which is basically just this area, and it's how we started. We find the first beds, who are mainly veggie beds, and a lot of them were basically donated by our members, by our school members, by different people who we know, and that's basically how we started. Like the grapes and the bananas, and a lot of the herbs are one of the first crops that we got in, and one of the ones that are basically giving most. We have different peaches and different grape trees. And that's basically it. And then the summer we're working on the expansion process, getting it an irrigation, getting it nice and clean, where it could then be a space where people could come together in an informal or formal community space, and they could plant, they could grow, and they could talk about issues that are basically affecting them in their everyday life. In these next few days, we're going to build a rain barrel catchment system and a greenhouse, and a lot of these techniques that we have are purposely done so that way people could see how the different ways they could catch the water, and they could build stuff in an inexpensive manner. Yeah.
Awesome. What kind of vegetables do you have growing?
Right now we have, since San Antonio is such a great place to grow stuff, we have 4 seasons. Basically, we grow year round. So right now we have tomatoes, which thrive in the sun. We have eggplant, we have chiles, we have watermelon, we're growing pumpkin and okra, we have strawberries. We still have some Brussels sprouts that just never sprouted, but they're getting there. We have grapes, we have nectarines, and we had peaches, but they were all gone this past few weeks.
Awesome.
And that's some of the plants we have here.
Cool. And you've been here for 4 years?
I've been here for 4 years, yeah, at the Union, and the garden started 3 years ago, so it's a big change from what there was 3 years ago on an empty lot.
Awesome. And real quick, what does outgrow the government mean
Outgrow
to you?
the government?
Yeah. Oh, James been talking about that as like food sovereignty, like growing enough food for the community.
I think that's a different term, but sort of in the same ways, around like environmental justice and food sovereignty, and it's like creating our own food system instead of sort of like going to HEB to get all our food, going to this other place to get all, and instead we could be growing that in our back backyard, and it doesn't seem that radical, but in this world it is, you know. In this world, that's how it's become a radical thing to just, you know, grow your own food in your backyard, you know, grow, you know, food in your apartment building, and different things like that. So I think that's sort of what it means to me.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.